Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Christian Cultural Heritage. We are beginning this course, an 8-week module course that we will go through quite quickly. Since it's 8 weeks, it's about twice as fast as a normal semester, which is 16 weeks. So you're covering the same material, but it is quicker. So just keep in mind you want to keep up with your work. Today, we're just going to go through the syllabus to remind you kind of what the expectations are in the class and some of the objectives of the class. But in either case, I am very happy that you're here with us and look forward to the interaction we have online here in this class. So I'm going to switch over to the syllabus so that you don't have to keep looking at me the whole time, but we'll scroll through the syllabus, go over it some so that you'll have an idea of what's on it and where. And then I'll also switch over to Canvas a little bit to show you some of those things that are on Canvas as well. So this first video is to help get you oriented towards what the expectations of the class are and see what aspects of Canvas are involved in that. So let's switch over. Let me switch over to the share the screen here with you, and we'll get to the syllabus here. All right, here's the syllabus. So as you look through that, just the course catalog just says an exploration of Christian cultural heritage as it relates to the student's bachelor's degree. And that's pretty generic, but we'll get into more of that and what that all means when we start the course. And you'll get an idea of what we're talking about when we talk about Christian cultural heritage. Note down here at the bottom, disability services that are available to all students, no matter which campus they're on, which college they participate in. So you can look at that, and if you need to make use of those services, you have the contact information there. Student access to the faculty administration, this is where you can go to get email addresses, phone numbers to contact anybody on the faculty administration. And then the Academic Center for Excellence, or ACE, this is where you can, it's available for all students to help you to excel in your classes. Also, it gives you some tutoring possibilities if you need some tutoring, and you're welcome to contact them as you see you have need for that. Page 2, purpose of the course: to explore the Christian worldview in light of popular culture and to gain insights into making application of Christian teaching to the graduating seniors' major field of study in the context of American culture. If you're taking this course, you know it's a required course for all non-Bible majors to take as one of their capstone Bible courses. And the point of the course was, when it was developed and continues to be now as we teach it, to help students to think about their particular worldview, hopefully a biblical worldview. But we realize that not everyone holds that worldview, but it is to help us explore whatever our worldview is, and to say, how can I incorporate this worldview into the area I'm looking at as my profession? Or if you're going on with graduate school, same thing, say, how can I incorporate this? And we, of course, will be approaching it from a Christian biblical worldview to say, how can I make those aspects of the Christian worldview or biblical worldview helpful in what I am going to be doing with my life? And I think all of us, whether we're a Christian or not, would like to do something worthwhile with our lives. And so that's the gist of the direction we'll go, and you'll get a better idea of what all we're talking about, because we'll look at the historical aspects of Christianity and how it's impacted our current U.S. System historically, and also just to say what aspects of the Christian worldview or biblical worldview is helpful to us. Well, course objectives there. we want you to demonstrate a self-awareness and strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges with respect to spiritual, professional, and sociocultural goals. To discuss the influence of Christian worldview on the American culture and its influence in the student's field of study. Describe how particular disciplines may be developed and applied in both a spiritual and professional way for Christian service. And four, demonstrate critical reading, thinking, and writing skills. The course premise and philosophy and methodology. Just read this for you. This course teaches its didactic goals, reaches its didactic goals through the cooperative efforts of the professor and the student. The course premise is that students learn this material best by written assignments, class discussion, and research that integrate every aspect of the student's learning process. The course philosophy is that students who participate to the best of their ability in all of these areas will have greater access than those who do not. The course methodology involves written assignments designed to afford the student every opportunity to demonstrate competence to the basic understanding of issues relative to his or her degree in the context of Christian service. The professor's responsibility is to provide a proper learning environment for the students to succeed, that is, of course, to pass, and of course, do want everyone to pass in this particular area of study. The student's responsibilities include, but are not limited to, the successful completion of all assignments. These prepare the student for class participation and his or her class contributions to the material covered in various sessions. Each student should also take personal initiative to go beyond these assignments, seeking other available data that will, when added to the assignment, give the class a breadth and depth not otherwise available. So when we talk about this course, it's basically divided into 7 sections, which basically are 7 presentations, PowerPoint presentations. But on the site, on Canvas site, you'll see that each presentation is broken up into subsections. So you have introduction there, what is Christian cultural heritage, and you'll have number of videos. So just like in class, I will lecture but won't finish that lecture period, that particular class period, and I'll pick up there on the next one. That's what the videos do also. So these videos, they can range anywhere from 30 minutes to 50 minutes usually. So that will be what you'll be watching online and taking notes on, along with other videos. So you can see here, the first one is what is Christian cultural heritage. Then we're going to talk about Christianity's global presence in the world, Western thought and religion, where we'll look at some of the things people think about religion. Discerning worldviews in a pluralistic society. We'll be talking about what worldview is, how that relates to religion, culture, and so forth, and that we live in a society that's very pluralistic in that it has a lot of different worldviews with which we have to interact in whatever profession we go in, more and more so all the time. Then we'll look at Christian heritage in the U.S., tracing how Christianity has influence from its foundations all the way to the time of the U.S. founding, and how the Europeans brought that Christian heritage and how it influenced the founding of this nation. And so we'll be talking about that. The challenge of modern secularism, secularism. We'll really look at the rise of it and then how it's challenging the biblical worldview. And then 7, last one, we'll talk about Christian engagement of modern secularism. Now, these basically fall into each week's assignments, except that we have 8 weeks in this course, and so number 6 there, the rise and challenge of modern secularism, has 2 parts, so that would be week 6 and 7, and then the final week will be the Christian engagement of modern secularism. Down here you can see what textbooks are required, so I would encourage you to get those as soon as possible. the Bible, because there will be discussion questions related to some scriptures. Os Guinness' book, The Call, Finding and Fulfilling the Central Purpose of Your Life. He's a very good writer. You'll see some videos with him speaking as well. He is a great spokesman today, talking about our modern situation and the biblical worldview as it interacts with that modern situation. Alvin Schmidt's book, How Christianity Changed the World, gives a historical overview of the impact, the positive impact Christianity has had. It also will point out some of the negative things that Christianity did historically. We don't want to forget that Christianity is not perfect. The people in it are not perfect, and sometimes they do things that are not what God would want. But overall, Christianity has brought a positive influence to the world we live in, and that's what he's going to concentrate on. And then you got a pretty good long list of supplementary reading material that could be very helpful. A recent book is this one by Tom Holland in 2019, Dominion, How the Christian Revolution Remade the World. Very interesting book. He's very scholarly. He's written a lot of historical books, but this one goes through how Christianity has positively impacted the world, and to this very day is still having a large impact for good. However, he will also spend time talking about how Christianity at times failed in what it was supposed to do, and that's something we always have to be aware of, that we don't need to be doing things that are contrary to what Christ would want us to do. All right, well, here's where you get into course requirements, evaluation, your formal assessment. You have lecture engagement notes for your attendance. How we know that you're attending is when you're watching the videos and you take notes on them and submit them appropriately. So I know that you've been watching the videos. I can grade your submissions and know that this person is attending the lectures. So points for this assignment reflect the students' watching of the videos in the playlist. And there's not only the lecture videos that I make and post, but there are other videos, and oftentimes I make reference to them in the lecture, but other times I don't. But they are related to some of the topics we're talking about, and so are important. So you watch those as well. Most of those are short videos, anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes is generally the case. Maybe a few that might be a little bit longer, but you take notes on those as well, and if they're in that playlist for that week, and you will submit them. So, and you'll submit those to the Canvas, appropriate section on Canvas, and it goes into what's called UniCheck, which is a plagiarism software, so that it checks to see if anybody's submitted this information before. So be sure, of course, that's part of doing online, is to be sure that people are doing their own work. So you can also do, instead of just taking notes, you could do a 500-word, at least a 500-word summary. Instead, I don't recommend that as the best way to do it. I have found that most students, they only summarize on one little part, so I don't know if they actually watched all the video or not. So taking notes all the way through generally shows me that you've been listening. But be careful. Simply copying the PowerPoint slides does not fulfill this requirement. I do post the PowerPoint slides in PDF form on Canvas where you can have them, and that's mainly so help you study, help you listen to the lectures. But I do have times find students have just copied and pasted, and that doesn't work. And that comes back on the plagiarism parts because it has my material on there. And so keep that in mind. The submission can be either in typed written notes, so typed up notes, or you can or just write them out and then scan them and send it to me. I have students that do both ways. And so, but either way, you have to upload them on Canvas to come to me. And you'll find that most all the assignments will be uh, required by Sunday midnight of the following week, the beginning of the following week. So that's going to be the norm, although you will find a few assignments, especially at the end, when we get into the last week, that will be earlier. For example, the final reflective essay. You'll have a place where it says reading for discussions. This will tell you that you will need to be reading the two textbooks you have for this course, The Call and How Christianity Changed the World, because from those readings for that week, you will have questions on the discussion board that you will need to have done those readings to answer the questions and interact, and other students replying to you. So keep that in mind for posting, and get up right on reading the appropriate chapters for the week. Notice on the discussion posts, this is worth 200 points total. You basically have 8 weeks of discussion, and they're worth 25 points each maximum, as was the lecture notes for attendance. Students will be expected to participate in discussion boards each week. Normally, students will be required to make 4 posts beginning with week 2, going through week 7. Uh, Week 1, I only have 2 posts necessary because we're just getting started. And then the 8th week is just 2 posts. And that's because there's a lot of things being due, like the final and the reflective essay during that last week. But notice that whichever it is, whether it's the 2 posts or the 4 posts, the first post each week must be completed by Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. And all other posts for a given week must be completed by that following Sunday of that week at 11:59 p.m., basically midnight. And so uh, all original posts to the instructor's questions should demonstrate substantial reflection on the question. Each of these posts must be at least 100 words long. Don't give these little bitty posts. Yeah, the author was great. He said this, and I agree. Don't. That's not interaction, and doesn't allow others to interact other than say, "Yeah, I agree too," or "I disagree." Yeah, we want reflective discussion. Uh, so um, discussion of posts do constitute participation for the university's e-campus policy, but do not constitute engagement for the instructor's policy. That up there is your lecture engagement that I look at for your attendance. Now, formal examinations, you're going to have 2, each worth 100 points, the midterm and the final. So you'll see on Canvas and in the syllabus later when you're going to have the midterm, when it's due, and also the final. These exams may consist of multiple choice essay questions, short answer listing, and other or true false questions drawn from the lecture material, reading assignments for the required textbook, and assigned material designated by the instructor, like the videos and so forth. So keep in mind on the exams, and you'll see the schedule a little bit further down. Critical engagement paper. These are the papers engaging Schmidt's book on how Christianity changed the world. You'll have 5 of those to do during the 8 weeks. So you will need to submit a minimum of a 500-page paper engaging Schmidt's reading every week, beginning in week 2 through week 7. So the first week and last week, you don't have anything. These papers will focus on the argument and evidence presented in the reading, as well as the students' reflections on it. There's opportunity for a 6th one. I put that in as extra credit, and you'll see this a little bit later, along with another item that can be extra credit as well. I would say make use of the extra credit. They just add to your point numbers that in the semester to help lift your grade. But you'll see guidelines in Canvas on how to do this, so be sure to read the guidelines in doing your critical engagement paper, so you know to do it, how to do it correctly, the format, and so forth. Lastly is the capstone reflective essay. This essay is examining the interaction between Christianity and various worldviews and ideologies, as well as a reflection on your worldview of how to incorporate Christian beliefs into your chosen vocation. And you'll have specific instructions where the reflective essay is on Canvas, so you'll be able to see specifically how you go about that, the format, and things you should be covering, because it will give you a checklist of things that you need to do in that reflective essay. So keep that in mind. And I realize that maybe you don't have a Christian worldview, but you can do this reflective essay with any worldview. You may find that there are aspects of Christianity that you can be in even if you don't have a biblical worldview. But either way, if you have some kind of problem thinking about it, just contact me. We'll talk about it. I've never had anybody end up not being able to do it because of that. I've had some that didn't have a Christian worldview, some had atheistic worldview, some were Islamic or Buddhist. So it can still be done. And so keep that in mind. Informal assessment, here I get into the extra credit. Yeah, and one of the first extra credit is a survey, which I've entitled Investigating Your Worldview and Religious Perception Survey. This is worth 25 points, and this you do at the beginning of the semester, and those results go to only to me, and they are confidential. But it helps me to understand where you are currently in your worldview, and it's the main point of it is to help you explore exactly where you are in your biblical worldview or some other worldview. But that give you 25 points just for completing the survey. So let me switch over to Canvas for a moment, and we'll take a look at Canvas for a second. Share that. Okay. Now this is the faculty members view. Yours won't be exactly like this, but be pretty close. So you have an overview of the course and my information. So if you want more information about me, you can look at the instructor's information to give you contact information, where my office is, my office hours, and everything, which are also, on the syllabus as well. And it gives my late assignment, which is also in the syllabus. But here, if you need a copy of the syllabus, this is where you would go, and you could print out your copy of the syllabus. So there's also over here to the left, it's the syllabus, same thing, you can get there. It's kind of two different places. And you have my response time policy to assignments and so forth, and we'll mention that in the syllabus as well. And down here, you see that these are the PDF of the PowerPoints. You'll see that this one will be released after class has begun, and there's a reason for waiting on that. But you have these available to you to help you study, because this will be the material I'll be covering in class. And so down here you get the 8 weeks: week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, so all the way through week 8, just like in the syllabus. But here you get to the specifics. Tells you the objectives of this particular module, and then your playlist of the videos are there. So for example, this week you have 2 presentations from me from lecture notes, but no others in that particular one. But in others, like week 1, you would have more than just my lectures. There's an example, what you're listening to now will be posted here, but you'll have other videos as well as my lectures occurring here as well. So keep that in mind. But you have the 8 weeks, and if you're looking for the extra credit on taking the survey, it's right here. That's where you go and to do that. And so your assignments and your discussion posts are here. It tells you here's your reading for those discussion posts, and then here is where you go to click on your discussion posts. Now, your first thing you're going to do in your discussion, you'll get a announcement to the effect you all greet each other on the discussion board. That's everyone in the class, which is right now about 35 students. So it's a good number of students in this class for an online class. But after the greetings and everything, I'm going to divide you into groups. So there'll be 4 groups so that there's less posting when you're responding to others. You don't have a whole 34 people to deal with. That's just too much, and it's also difficult for me to grade all the ways because so many things in one area. So just remember, you'll end up in a group after the first, well, the first week after your greetings. So keep that in mind. All right, well, so that kind of gives you an idea of things. And if you need more information, well, this is where handouts are. You'll have some extra credit possibilities put here, but you got student resources. This is if you're trying to deal with Canvas, you can go there and find out information, get some videos that help you navigate Canvas. All right, so that's just going over from the syllabus to Canvas and how they're related. Now let's go back to the syllabus here. All right, and down here you will see my contact information is on the syllabus as well, and my response time for grading is mentioned there as well. You see my office hours and my phone number at my office and at home. All right, well, lastly, the academic policies. We'll go through here as quickly as we can. Attendance, refer to University Campus Office attendance policy with respect to student enrollment and financial aid. It is available on Canvas under the modules, student resources that I pointed out a moment ago. Note that students who do not participate in the first 14 days of class may be subject to administrative withdrawal from the course and/or financial aid consequences. Additionally, students not active or who have not participated for 21 continuous days could possibly receive FA in the course, failing due to absence. In other words, just remember that if you're not participating, you'll get a notice from me first of all saying, hey, I haven't seen you participating, and then I'll mention that you're getting close to the 14 days or something like that. So keep that in mind. Late and makeup work, exams, discussion posts, and notes may not be submitted late unless arrangements are made with the instructor. Late submissions of these items without the instructor's consent may result in assignment not being graded or graded at a reduced level. Essays may be turned in up to 2 days late without arrangements with the instructor, but each late day results in a letter grade reduction. Assignments submitted beyond the 2 days may not be graded or might result in additional reduction. Because this course is only 8 weeks and students have a week to complete assignments, I will allow makeup work only in rare occurrences, simply because it's so easy to get behind in this class. Students who desire to make up missed assignments should contact me as soon as possible to discuss reasons for making up and the requirements for making up the work. So try your best not to fall behind. Conduct during discussions, vigorous investigation and/or discussions of class material is encouraged. Students are invited to disagree with the instructor or other students if such is one's true belief or interpretation. Students, however, are discouraged from being disagreeable, even the discussion. Entirely out of place is rudeness, bullying, or ad hominem attacks. That's attacking a person instead of the argument. So the instructor will be the final arbiter on whether a student's disagreement in classes crosses these lines, and there's unwelcome behavior involved with it. So in such cases, the instructor might ask this offending student to reword her or his comments, or in extreme cases, ask the student to leave the online discussion. In other words, please treat all students in the appropriate Christian manner. Grading disputes mentioned here, the university policy, and in order to ensure each student's work is graded in accordance with standards that apply to the entire class. If you have a question regarding grades, you must meet with me within 3 days after the work in question is graded and returned. This appeal must be in writing, but initially you can just, mention it verbally is okay, but then you have to put it in writing. But there's no exceptions will be made to this policy. If the exam or assignment is rescored, the entire exam or project will be graded again. This means that your score may increase or decrease. Additional appeals in keeping with university policy are also available. Academic honesty, we always want to emphasize that we want honesty in our classes and doing our assignments and so forth. Faulkner does have an honor code, and to which students are asked to follow, and they're expected to act with integrity, honesty, especially in the classroom. And that means claiming anyone's work or words or ideas as one's own attribution, intentionally or not, also known as a plagiarism. Uh, the use of unauthorized material or assistance during exams or quizzes, also known as cheating, are violations of the code. So want to keep that in mind. So any student participating in facilitating or assisting in plagiarism or cheating or any other academic honor violation in the course will face academic sanctions. Penalties may range from failure on an assignment, quiz, or exam to failure of the course or other approved sanctions. To be clear, for any assignment in this class, you may only use the material the instructor explicitly designates as acceptable. The use of any other material, source, website, or person during the completion of an assignment is not authorized and is an academic violation. If a student becomes aware of violation of academic honor code, she or he is encouraged is encouraged and expected to follow the procedure listed in the student handbook, which includes informing the instructor of another student's alleged participation of academic dishonesty. Technical difficulties and failure of technology, just realizing that we do at times you're working online for this course, so you're submitting assignments, taking exams, getting materials. Sometimes the site can go down. It's rare, but it does happen. Or sometimes there's a problem between your interface and Canvas that may happen. Or you may have just technical problems at your home, at your house, working on a thing. I've had students call me up and say, "Well, my computer crashed and I lost all of this." That does happen, and I can't do much about that. But if it's something to do with the online system and things like that, do notify me and I can see what to do about it. But notify me as quickly as possible on the situation. And some of it can sometimes be resolved. Sometimes it's a setting problem. I've found at times that a setting that I thought was set one way, it was set another way. And just let me know if something doesn't work. Like if you're trying to get an exam and it's not showing up, maybe the setting's wrong or something. So, but in either case, there may be some technical issues. I can tell you if Canvas is down for some reason or something like that. Late work, we talked about a little bit already, but exams, discussion posts, and notes may not be submitted late unless arrangements are made with the instructor. Essays may be turned in up to 2 days late without arrangements with the instructor, but each day late will result in a letter grade reduction. Now, I've had students, for example, last time I taught this, I had a student who was moving from the local area all the way to California, and she knew she was going to be gone for a while and traveling across country and moving and things. She contacted me and told me the situation, and we arranged for how she could get her assignments in and, not worry about being late on some of those. Excuse me. And then lastly, syllabus change policy. You have the syllabus online and we've just gone over it. But as I look at the syllabus, sometimes I might find something I felt like I didn't rightly explain or need some changes, or I make a change in the course. I will communicate any changes like that, particularly on any due dates or things like that. But watch on your computer for announcements. They'll come up in Canvas, but they should also come up in your uh, email account for the university. And so do try to communicate through your university email account. It's easier for me to keep track of who's talking to me that way instead of your personal account, in other words. So, but any changes, I will let you know. All right. So that is a quick view of the syllabus, and just want to again welcome you to the class. And I wish you the best to do well in the class, and certainly will do anything I can to assist you to uh, do well. And I look forward to the discussions that we'll have online. And be sure to feel free to contact me if you have any questions or things that you need to discuss. So that's it for the syllabus. You have a good day, and I'll see you online.